Greetings and salutations, my friends. You join me on a special fishing trip on Bear Lake, which is the sort of slightly higher level lake. It's known mainly for its carp fishing. And today, it's not like a proper sort of fishery guide. You're joining me on a fishing trip. So for the next couple of hours, I'm going to go carp fishing. We're going to try out some different baits and stuff like that. And rather than sort of show you 2 hours, you know, an hour and a half of which is probably me just, you know, looking up porn while waiting for a bite or something, I'll show you the highlights. I'll edit it down into the fish we catch and talk about tackle and stuff. So this is Bear Lake. It's a really nice venue. There's a couple of issues with it. There's a bug in game, which means that when you cast out, your bait doesn't make a splash, which is, it's not ideal, but there's a tiny little splash, and you can watch the feeder sometimes if it's relatively close. So we're going to start off, bearing in mind you can only fish on this edge of the lake. There's no way of getting across here, so we can only fish on this right-hand side. So we're going to fish just off the campsite on this little beach here, and we're going to be casting up against this second set of grasses here. It's 7 a.m, so we're going to use 3 carp rods. I'll show you me equipment. This is how all my rods are set up for this session. We've got the Gold S60s, we've got 30-pound line, we've got a feeder and carp mix, lovely stuff. Size 1 hook, a size 3 hook, a size 1 3 hook, a size 1 hook. And we're going to talk about boilies in a minute. This is how they're all set up, basically. We're going to go with 3 times the boilies. I've been doing a lot of experimentation because obviously I'm going to do a venue guide for these. So I'm going to start off. My all-time favourite bait, boilie, for this venue is the coconut and cream. The 22mm coconut and cream is brilliant. So, same as the 12, but obviously the fish are a little bit smaller. But it just doesn't seem to be catching as many at the moment. I think I'm trying to work out how the game works with boilies. I honestly, from my research, I'm literally noting down every fish I have over 10k. I'm noticing that doesn't seem to be a correlation between if it's like high temperature, what they go for, or low temperature, or what they go for, or wind, or time of day, they'll go for different flavours of boilies. It's not random, but it seems to be on a sort of a cycle, because so far everything I've written down, and it's bearing in mind it's a very small sample size, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I feel like it's a big enough sample size that it actually we might learn something. From my initial feelings, the carp just, the way the game works, it is just the carp seem to go on a cycle. At the moment, they seem to absolutely, I've had almost half the fish, and I've tried a ton of boilies on forest strawberry. So we've got 3 different sizes. I'm going to go for the 20mm today. So we're going to go for, on rod 1, we're going to have the 20mm forest strawberry boilie. You can see it hanging off there. And we're going to be casting tight to this grass bed up there. Only problem is, like I said, you can't see the splash. But from here, on this little bank, it's about, to the nearest point, it's about 40%, just over 40%. Between 40 and 50, that's right in front of it. It's really annoying that the game doesn't allow, or doesn't have the proper splashes in, because it's fine if you're fishing close in. Like, that's close enough that you can see the line, you can see the feeder going, you kind of can guess. But there's some really nice, I think, would be good spots on this lake. But, like, say, for instance, I want to cast up against that furthest, so see where that little platform is. Like, just in front of those grasses. I'm never going to be able to guess that. I want to be really tight to it, but I'm never going to be able to guess that. So you kind of, it forces you to just either gamble a bit and hope you're close, or fish at the sort of closer spots. I've got 2 or 3 really good spots I like. We're going to start off in my favourite, but let's go for the second boilie choice. We're going to try some stuff out. So I'm going to try the sweet corn. Seems to do quite well. Sunflower does pretty well as well. Esterberry is an all-time favourite of mine, but again, that doesn't seem to be catching anymore. But we're going to go, let's go sunflower. And just luzz that out. That's close enough. And set the drag at 25. Put it down, job's done. Do you like my fishing hat, by the way? Especially £2 off Amazon, this fishing hat was. And it got sent from China. Bonkers that that's even possible. I've picked up the wrong rod like a noob. Which rod have I got in my hand still then? 1. Okay, so what we're going to go for the third choice. I've had I think my biggest fish was on the Russian black. I'll show you that in a minute. But I've only had like maybe 1 bite ever on the Russian black. It might be just a big fish thing. let's try something that's not really worked so far. Let's go for a bit of fresh water krill. We're going to mix things up with a bit more, rather than these sort of fruity flavours. A little bit more juice because we're casting to the right there. Let's set that down. We're a little bit late for the sort of dawn biting session, but that's okay. Yeah, so I'll show you the fish, the carp I've sort of caught. So my biggest common carp is 23 kilos, and that was caught on a coconut and cream, 22 millimetres, which is nice. And then we've got our biggest leather carp is 27. That's our biggest fish. That was on mussels and fruit, but I didn't have a massive amount of bites. That was the record fish on Bear Lake. And mussels and fruit 16. The leather carp seemed to enjoy it. Then mirror carp, that was the Russian black. So that's, I think, my only fish on the Russian black. But I probably fished with it for 6-7 hours, real lifetime, and didn't get any. That was the only bite. So a little bit of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this sort of probably 20 minutes, and I'll get back to you once we hit the massive fish that we're bound to hit. Okay, just after saying that, we have what looks like, well, it's definitely a bite. The good thing about using feeder rods, especially with heavier weights, is that the fish hook themselves, so you don't have to strike or anything like that. We're going to keep playing this fish. I don't know what's on the other rod. I think it's just gone slack. Could be a line bite or something. It doesn't seem to be taking line on that right-hand rod. But this thing is definitely taking line. I don't think it's massive, but I think it's 10 kilo plus, which in normal fishing, a 20-pound carp is damn good. What I'm going to show you here, whilst we've got this fish on, is just to talk about how to play a bigger fish, because it's a question you get asked a lot. So you want to alter, with the mouse wheel, you want to alter your drag, or friction brake as it's called in here. I generally have it in the sort of early red as the line on the bottom expands. If it goes all the way to the top, it's going to snap. But you just have it on sort of here, just here, so you can play with it. When it's taking line like this, just hold your rod tip up, no hands, let it do its thing. I'm just holding this with my cock at the moment. That's how strong it is. There's no point in doing anything. No point in reeling in, because you're not going to gain any line. You're just wasting energy. So we let it do its thing. We can keep an eye. If you point towards the fish with your rod up, you can then get an idea of where it is. So the fish is over here somewhere, because this green line is pointing directly towards it. This could be a decent. So this was on the forest strawberry. The forest strawberry is killing it at the moment, I'm telling you. So as you can see in the bottom right there, just where my hand is covering it, you see a little bit of fire icon that's gone yellow, meaning that the reel's getting a bit hot because it's pulling line out. But I don't think... The good thing about this lake is it's never going to get that far. It can get to the back here, but it's never going to get too far. We're just going to move forward a little bit. And we're going to reel in as we walk, because we don't want this bar at the bottom to disappear into nothing, because that means there's no tension on the line, meaning the hook can fall out, we can lose the fish. So we're just following it a little bit. We're still pulling. So it looks like it feels like it's time. I think it's definitely 10 kilos. Unless it's a really angry 8 kilo grass carp. That's the only, because grass carp fight harder than commons and leathers and stuff. So now we're getting it back into the yellow, as you can see. There's two main methods of playing a fish. We'll let it tire itself out a little bit more. It still wants to take line. It's going to run out of lake eventually, so we don't have to worry too much about getting spooled, which is where you lose all your line. Where my hand is again, there's a little sort of reel icon with the white semicircle around it. I'm great at explaining things. That's how much line is left in that white line there. So we've got plenty of line left. So you can hold right click to lift your rod up, not reeling in. So we're just holding our rod up. And then when it goes we get a bit of slack like this, then we hold shift and left click, let go of right click, and we reel in fast to gain a bit back. And this is just sort of pumping it. So hold right click. Let it do its thing. It's still taking line. So it's got away. Oh, that's so unlucky. That so rarely happens. Honest boss, that so rarely happens. Typical game. It's just screwing me over. I'll show you when we get a fish. Well, I don't think it was massive, but it was definitely 10 kilos. But we'll get this one. But it's the forest strawberry that's killing it. And also people say, a lot of new questions to the game is, how can I stop losing? Okay, I think we got snagged on those trees over there. So we're just going to get a bit of slack line, and we're just going to keep right clicking. They'll often say, I keep losing my fish. How do I stop losing the fish? There's one thing, you can buy better quality hooks, right? It basically means they're sharper and they're more likely to keep the fish on. Even if you're the best fisherman in the world with most expensive diamond-tipped hooks, you're still going to lose fish. It's fishing at the end of the day. The hook pull is a thing, so you have to sort of deal with that. So let's get this rod back in. I don't know what... That's got to have a little fish on it, isn't it? That other one. Let's chuck it back out. Typical. First bloody fish I get. I don't think it has got anything on it, that one. It's just got a bit of slack, but we'll recast it. Is there anything on it? Are you there? No. And it's always a good, if you're not sure what bait is working at a venue and you want to, say, feed a fish, you can always just put 3 different baits. Doesn't have to be boilies, any venue. Put 3 different baits on, put a bit of worm, put a bit of bread, put a bit of maggot on, cast out, and you'll soon find what the fish are after. Now, if I was really fishing to catch a ton of fish, I'd probably... at the moment, drop all 3 rods onto the forest strawberry because they seem to be killing it. But I'm still sort of running this experiment where I'm trying different baits and stuff like that and noting them down and everything like that. So, unfortunately, we lost our first fish. But shit happens. We will come back stronger than ever before. Oh, here we go, boys. Here we go. The middle rod's off. What trum was this? Okay. I don't think it's very big, but at the moment, we don't want to blank on a video, which is basically catch no fish. So it's only little. So we're holding right click to bring it up to the top, and then letting go of right and holding down left and shift to reel fast. There's other ways to do it. You can also just do it manually by sort of moving the rod over here, bringing some line in, and then reeling nice and fast and move back. Find your own method, but that's the most important thing is to keep the rod bent at all times. Make sure there's always tension on the line, and don't set your drag too high that you're struggling. It looks like a little fish, but he looks quite angry. He's going off into the weeds there. We'll just try and steer him away. Come on, son. Come on. Here we go. We've always got a minute. I think he's only going to be like 2-3 kilos. There he is. So we reel to here, all the way in, as close as you pretty much you can, and then right click, press spacebar to get out your net, hold right click, and he'll just flop in. 4.6 kilos. I'm on decent carp kit, you see, so like a carp and £30 line and all that sort of stuff. What bait was this? This is on the sunflower. Okay. Good. Well, it's nice to be off the mark on a video. I didn't want to do a 20-minute video, wherever this long is this going to be, with no fish in it. That would have been awkward. We're getting nothing. We've had not a, it was always an outside bet. These sort of meat-flavoured, krill-flavoured type things, seafood-flavoured type boilies are generally better for Sura, for the sort of wild carp and the big head carp. I think in this lake they do tend to prefer a fruity little number. Let's go for an Esterberry. These haven't caught for a while, but these were like lemon coconut cream were my top favourites. So I think we're going to, unless we don't get a bite, we'll give it another 10 minutes. If we don't get another bite, we might move to a different spot. But we're on the board, boys. We're on the board. It's not big, but it's very, very welcome. On the old sunflower, 20mm. Okay, I'll come back to you with more exciting fish action. You know, I'm looking for a 25 kilo, if I'm honest. You know, I'm not greedy, but that's what I want. So we're coming into the evening time now, which is probably the best time for carp. Now to about 10 p.m. in game seems to be the best. So what we're going to do, I've got feeders on that actually take 2 balls of ground bait, but we're going to chuck out a couple of balls, so to speak, and see if we can get a few more fish interested in feeding. So behold my giant balls. Look at the size of them balls. Right, so it's probably going to be a full luz. Again, you can't see a splash, so you kind of have to watch it. They really need to fix that. Because I think this lake is so much fun to fish, but it'd be so much better if I knew where I was casting at any distance. Like, sort of round here. I usually throw about 5 balls. It's personal preference. You don't want to go more than 10, apparently, because that is just overfeeding them. Like, there's some really good spots. Like, this is easy to fish this bit here, but then I want to fish against that bit over there. It's going to be hard to get close. But let's head back and catch a fish. Hopefully, I'm sort of primed for the evening now. I think we're going to stick with what we've got. We know 2 of these have got a bite. Is that a fish on? Sometimes it could what could be a drop back bite, which is the fish has picked it up but swam towards you. That's why the bell doesn't go and the line goes slack. But sometimes, and I don't really know logically in the game what this is. This doesn't look like a drop back bite. This looks like the bait's just moving of its own accord. I don't think maybe in game it's considered like a carp has picked it up but not hooked itself or something. But you don't really see that much. You get a little bit of that if a fish swims across your line in real life, it might knock the line and you might get a foot of slack line, but not to the extent you sometimes get here, and unless the lead's moving, like rolling down a hill or something like that. But it's a feeder, it really shouldn't, and they're pretty heavy. But we're at 7 p.m. We've got 2 baits that we know catch fish. We've got 1 bait that we're gambling with the Esterberry that has history of catching fish. So we're going to sit. I think we'll sit here for the evening because we've had a couple of bites and see how we get on. Right, so it's a little bit disappointing. It's getting a bit later now. We've not had any more bites. I've just recast the rods, which on Bear Lake I normally do about every sort of 15 minutes real life time, because we don't exactly know where we're casting 100%. It might be a really shitty spot, or we didn't get where we wanted to go. So I like to recast a little bit more often than I sort of sometimes would. I was hoping for a bite in the next sort of hour or so. I could potentially move, but the spot we want to go next to, we've just been disconnected. Well, I think we'll move then. That's my internet, by the way. The server is pretty good. My internet just has brain farts. So, fun times. Internet, Northern Ireland. Good stuff. I think because we've crashed and we have to reload the lake, all the rods get taken in. So I think we're going to move to our next spot here. So we'll head on over there. Maybe it's a sign from the Russian Fishing Four Gods that we should go to where some fish are. Good plan. Right, so here we are back on the lake. We are heading down to this area now. Just over here. So this is a relatively new spot for me. I've been trying out and caught some decent fish. And basically it's against this set of reeds here. So I'm quite happy with the bait choices. We've got the Esterberry. Is the Esterberry doing the business? Let's go for my personal all-time favourite, the coconut and cream. It just sounds lovely as a boilie. We're a bit low on carp mix. No, we're not. Okay, so it's a little bit harder to get where you want to go here. It's about 60%, I think. 56 we got there. That's it. That was a couple of feet before there. That'll do. So we're putting it down, holding wide so we can tighten the line. We're still in a good time for bites here, so I'm not too worried about it. So with this one, we've got the sunflower, which we're going to continue to use. That's where we got our fish, so we'll go with that. A little bit more on this, a little bit more juice. I think we've got in the water there. I think I just saw it. Remember to set your drag. Whenever you log in again, it resets your friction brake, so you want to make sure you set it on whatever you want to set it on before, because otherwise it's a bit low and the fish will just take line too easily. And I've just picked up the fucking rod like a nonce. Okay, good. 3. Right, definitely keeping the straubs on, right? The straubs is my current go-to. Yep, love it over there. Oh, that's decent. That is decent. That's all 3 of those casts I was pretty happy with. So, and I generally always put my rods at an angle. It's a lot easier to see bites. Normally, if I was carp fishing in real life, I'd have a rod pod with 3 rods pointing directly where I'm fishing. But with this game, it seems a lot easier to get bite registration, especially if you're using lighter weights and you're fishing other fish like sort of small roach and stuff like that. It's a lot easier. Unless I'm fishing really deep, then where the line goes down, then you can then I put them straight on, but otherwise not. Right. It's 11 p.m. It's getting a little bit late now. We might sneak one in before midnight. Right, we're back again. We missed about 5-10 minutes in game, like real life time, because my internet wouldn't reconnect. I'll actually ask you guys a techie question, because it's actually my Northern Irish internet is pretty turd, right? But what's happening is anybody techie person, especially to do with internet, if you could please advise me. So what's happening is we have obviously internet in our house, and we broadband, and we have Wi-Fi and all that good stuff. The Wi-Fi connection is pretty poor because the only place it can connect to the house is the other side of the house. And as you know, the connection gets weaker as it travels through walls and distance and all that sort of good stuff, right? So, what I've got, I think they're called TP links. And they basically you plug one into the wall and then plug it into the router. And then you plug another one into the wall here. And you're using the wiring on the house to transmit the signal. And it makes it a lot quicker, which it is. Not quick because it's Northern Ireland, but quicker. And I was wondering, what seems to happen is that probably 10, 15, maybe 20 times a day, my internet will disconnect. And most of the time, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes before it comes back on. Now, the internet is fine. Okay, other household members are using it. It's something to do with my TP link that just sort of loses the connection. Okay, and that in itself is probably something to do with the wiring of the house or the TP. But when I'm streaming, it never cuts off. So when I'm uploading and downloading and streaming and all that sort of good stuff, it never cuts off. So if anyone has any idea why that happens, I will be very, very grateful. And in the meantime, we're going to cut to us getting an actual bite. We're not having a good day, boys, is it? We're not having a good day. Normally, 24 hours in-game is 1 real-life hour. So let's say I fish for 2 hours, real-life time. I would expect... It's not a prolific water, you know, this is a big carp lake, but I would expect if I play for a couple of hours, maybe sort of 10, 15 fish, you know, 10 probably being the average or something like that. So we're not having a good day, boys. We're like 16 hours in and we've had 2 bites. But it's going to come good, right? We're going to fish here. We're going to leave these here for the morning. When we get to dawn, they're going to be ready. When the fish wake up, and they're going to be biting. And we've got a bite, boys. Yes, I'll take it. I don't even care what size it is. Forest strawberry, lads. Forest strawberry. Of course it is. And it's taking line. It's taking quite a bit of line. Okay. What we might do is go triple forest strawberry. I'm not even sure I'll be able to keep up. So remember, keep that rod bent. It's taking line, so we don't... Now we're pulling it back. Doesn't feel massive unless it goes on a tear. Okay, it's taking some line. Got to be a little bit careful because we're here now. So if the fish decides to go over here, we don't have the line on the reel to go that far. So we might have to run round to this point here if it takes a bunch of line. But I don't think it's that big. It's probably around the 10 kilo. It's feeling, you get, just through experience, you get feeling. We gained a little bit back, but then we lost it. So just letting it do its thing. Now it's gone slack a bit. Right click in and left click. Shift to speed reel in. Same again. Let's start pumping it in. Yes, I think it's going to be about 8k, maybe. Oh. Okay, I've angered it. Okay, this could be a decent fish, boys. It's a weird one. It's a weird fight. It's taking a ton of line, but then just sort of stopping. Normally, they just go on a tear. I'm not really gaining anything, so we're just going to let... When it's sort of sitting in nothing land, it's not taking line, but you can't really reel in. Just wait. Just let it do its thing. The longer you play a fish, eventually it will tire out. That's why on really light gear, you can land big fish. You just have to... It just takes a lot longer to tire them out. We've got to be careful of where this fish is going, though. I don't think it's big enough to take me across the lake. We've got a little bit back there. We're down to almost half line, which is fine. So right click, then bring it up, and then reel. Lovely. You can, there's other methods, like I said, sort of pulling to the side like this, keeping the sort of tension when it stops pulling, keeping the sort of tension sort of steady, getting it all the way back, and then reeling in as you sort of move backwards. The other way is if you could get it to here and just reel in with shift. I'm reeling in with shift, but this really tires you out. It's a slow reeling in process. Your energy on the top bar on the left can go low, and you might need to sort of drink energy drinks and stuff to keep that up. So if it's a big fish, I generally not do that. So we're just going to pump, because when we're actually reeling in, the line's not too tense, it's not too tight, so we can get it. So we're coming in now. I think it's going to be around 10 kilos. That's my guess. I just want to land it. If I lose another fish, it basically looks like I'm really shit at fishing. We're not going to lose another fish. Quite an unusual bite time. I don't get it many times like middle of the night. Oh, he's having a little think about it. Come on. Okay, he's not ready yet. Right, there we go. Okay, steady on, son. Okay, we're not too worried about line. We've got we've got 2/3 of our line here, so we shouldn't be worried. Come on. And if you are interested, if you're new to the game or you just want somewhere to hang out, we do have our own chat room. If you hit Q and then the little cog icon, and you can search for Loki Doki, and that's our little chat room. We've got a couple of... We did have 500 members until the server crashed the other day. And it kicked about 400 people out, but everybody is sort of slowly returning. It's a real good laugh. We hang out lots. We talk on Skype and all that good stuff. It's really good if you've got any questions or just want to do some fun competitions or just, you know, make new friends. Okay, I think this is bigger than 10. I'm going to up my guess to 12. Because it's not, like, given up. It's not like it made a little run. That was all its energy. It's now given up. So as we play this fish, you can see my energy bar on the left is starting to go into the yellow. I've got plenty of energy drinks, but they cost money. You don't want to use them if you don't have to. And I'm tight like that. I'm saving up for kit. But we will use it if we get much lower. There we go. Nice. This is definitely my preferred method. The sort of pump method, so to speak. Alright, we're 3/4 of the way in now. Yeah, I'm going for 12 kilo, boys. Or like a 10 kilo grass carp. He's not done. It's fighting. It feels almost grass carpian in its fight. Because it hasn't given... I feel like normally they just sort of give up. You know, they'll have a bit of fight in them and then they're like, okay, you got me. I think it's pretty much given up now. You can just reel in. So take one of our Monkey Cola energy drinks to give us that boost. He ain't done. He ain't done. Oh, we're getting another bite, boys. We're getting another bite. It's all kicking off, lads. Thank God for that. I'm going to catch a fish on this video. It's not taking much line. Okay, it's going to start taking a load of line now. We want to, just in case it goes off on one, we need to get this in quick. Okay, it's taking line now, boys. Quick. Come on. Come on, buddy. Oh, it's taking lots of line. Did I set the drag on that when I relogged in? Oh, no. Oh, this is bad, boys. That thing's taking a lot of line. I'm taking a second cola. I'm basically snorting the stuff at this point. So we can sort of reel in like this and just constantly, come on. Haven't seen it yet. I'm going for 12 kilo. I don't know if it's going to be a mirror leather common. I think they all fight pretty much the same. They should do, really. Not seen it yet. I'm going to see. Okay, I think it stopped taking a ton of line, which is good news for us. Okay, spoke too soon, boys. Spoke too soon. We've almost got this one in. We'll see it very soon. Normally when you see them on the surface, they've given up. They'll come to the surface and it's just like reeling in the weight. That's it, go on. That's a good fight. They put up a valiant effort. Oh, we see a fin. We see a fin. Okay, it's not a grassy. That's good. It's probably a little bit bigger then. I'm going to weigh up my thing again though. 12. You've got to do it before you see it properly. I'm not going to look. Is it 12? 13. I was going to say 14. I'm splitting the difference. I'm going for 13 kilos. It's a mirror carp. One more should get it. So, like I said, reel in as far as you can. So one more big reel. So the rod is almost touching it. Hold right click. Press space bar and it'll automatically push it out. 11 kilos. Oh, went too optimistic. Very nice, though. We'll take that. And we've got more on, so we're going to get this rod straight back out. What bait was that on? What's the middle rod? He's not done, is he? Yeah, I didn't set the bloody thing, did I? That means it's probably a really small fish that took a bunch of line. Yeah, it's not a big one, boys. This is on the sunflower, I think, isn't it? I've noticed on baits like the sweet corn boilie and the sort of sunflower that you will occasionally get like gibble carp and the occasional barbel. This is not very big at all. It's probably like 4 kilos or something. Where are you, buddy? He probably thought he was so strong pulling all that line. Sorry, mate, I forgot to set me drag. That was a couple of nice bites, though. Yeah, it's a little baby one. It's a little baby. Comes. Here he comes, like a little submarine. That little common. There we go. Yeah, they go for almost 4 kilos. Take it. It's all relatively decent experience. And each one of those sell for a little bit as well. And like you see, if I hadn't... That was only took so long because I'd let out so much line accidentally. Normally, that would reel that straight in. Right. We're going to try something else. Coconut's not done it for us. We're coming into dawn, which is a really good time for fishing. So let's get this in. Do we go double strawberry? I think it might be unfair to the fish. Let's try a big fat strawberry boilie. We'll get it out there. So we've got sunflower, strawberry. They won't know what's hit them. Okay, well, it's an improvement, boys. So in our first 24 hours, we've basically got 3 fish and 2 disconnects for my stupid internet. Good start. Right, we'll be back with the big one. Oh, I was just recasting my rods, as I tend to do. Just want to see if I could get a little bit closer to the island there. And we've got a bite on, boys. And it's on the fruity mussel. Is that what I'm calling it now? Just a fruity mussel? Okay. I don't think it's big. But we'll take it. How are we doing, boys? How are we doing? Yeah, it's not very big. I think I caught a couple more grass carp on these than the other normal boilies. It's not big, but you know, when the fishing's not going great, I think anything's a welcome bite. Here we go. Come on, baby. Quicker you get in the net, quicker you can. Well, I was going to say be released, but that's not what happens in this game. They get sold for fish meat, so. Quicker you give up, quicker you can be slaughtered and eaten by somebody. Yeah, I'm not really selling it to him, am I? Like, as you can see, like, you know, the fishing today is a bit slow, but, you know, at this point I would expect to have maybe sort of, you know, 8-10 fish, and for some people, like, sitting for 10, maybe 20 minutes looking at a screen with nothing happening might be, you know, a bit dull, and I can totally understand that, especially if, like, you're normally playing Call of Duty or something. But there's plenty of ways to fish. A lot of people will fish with 2 feeder rods, so they have those 2 out, and then they'll float fish with the other rod, maybe for tench or other stuff. Looks like a mirror or a leather. They'll fish for tench and other stuff, or barbel on the float and stuff like that, or they'll go spinning for perch and pike and all that sort of good stuff. So you can be as active or as lazy as you want. So I like carp fishing and having 3 rods out. Not a bad fish. 7.3. I'll take that all day long, boys. And that is on the fruity mussel, as we're going to call it now. No, it's not enough. What you can do is, if you're going to cast and then you go, oh shit, I don't want to cast that far, as soon as you cast, just start reeling in and then it won't lob it all the way out. We're going trying to hit about 60%. That's lovely. That's lovely. Go on. Ooh, I think that was right on the island. Or before it. You want to be on the island. That would be crazy. Right, there we go. Those 2 rods are out there. Nice. You can see they're a little bit higher up in the water. The lines that go into the water aren't that realistic sometimes, especially when you're fishing it deep. The angle they go in is weird, where you think the line is. But those 2 rods might be a little bit close. We'll see. We'll see, because the left and right rod are definitely closer to the bank, hence it's shallower there. So we'll see how those 2 go. We've got the one in the middle, which is the old sunflower, which we'll give another 10 minutes to the sunflower, then maybe swap it over for the we'll swap it over for the sweet corn. Because even if the carp aren't biting, we occasionally get some little gibble carp, or we can catch other fish with it as well, the old sweet corn boilies, so we could do that. Oh, I'm a balancing genius. Oh. We're on, boys, we're on. What is it? Wait, is that the straws? Oh, it's the fruity mussel. Get in there. It's tiny, but it's a fish, boys. Is it even a carp? Is that a bream? Have I got a bream? It's a 1 kilo bream, lads. It's not gone well, that. We'll take it. We'll take it. For a slow day's fishing. I think we'll give it a couple more hours here in game, and if we get no bites, we might move back to the first spot, see if we can wheedle out another carp before we finish up. When you're fishing, boys, and you're not catching much, Jesus, just got tapped by a giant moth, always good to get out your shovel and bury a dead dig for worms, because even if you don't need worms, and by this stage of the game, when I've got over, I think, 2,500 worms. But you can still level up your harvesting baits skill, which is always useful. So whenever you've got nothing to do and you're waiting for a bite, we can harvest frogs soon when we get to 60%, and bait fish at 65%. So that's really nice. So always dig. Be careful if you're fishing for big fish like carp or like catfish or stuff like that, in that digging uses up quite a lot of your energy. So you don't want to use up all your energy and then get a bite, and then if you don't have any energy drinks, so make sure you always carry a few energy drinks, even if you don't normally use them, just for like emergencies. As you can see, our energy is sort of shooting down here, so we don't want to be going too low and then get a bite and not have any energy drinks. That would suck big fat balls, so we don't want to do that. So we've got, I think I've got a few, I've got a few energy drinks, cut thermoses of tea, some Krakow sausage, because everybody loves a good sausage, don't they? In fact, we'll nosh on one now. There we go. Get the food up. That will increase the energy regeneration. And we're bagging in some worms. Exciting stuff, boys. You always find something to do when the fish aren't biting. I am wearing all the hats. I'm dancing. Right, we're just coming into evening time. We've not had a bite since, so I just don't think the carp are on it today. So we are going to move, and I'm going to try and catch a few barbel and maybe a couple of nice tench. Unfortunately, my ground bait skill is not high enough to make barbel ground bait yet, but that's fine. We'll use cheese, and I've got some tench ground bait, and we'll still hopefully get a couple of nice barbel. They put up a good fight. I've never caught a massive barbel. My best is not huge at all. I don't know what my best is actually. Statistics, common babel. Yeah, only 3 kilos, but I've had probably 10-15 barbel. I haven't really fished for him a ton, so I'll probably do lots more when we'll probably have a sort of proper fishing trip when I unlock the barbel ground bait. But let's head over to the spot where I've had most of my barbel. Right, boys. Also, in the comments, guys, let me know what trips you want me to see. Obviously, this is a carp fishing trip, but we can go float fishing for stuff, or cruisions, or tench session, or we can go. I don't do a massive amount of trolling and stuff, but we can do that as a video, or spinning, or whatever it is you fancy. Let's go away, moths. Right, where is my spot? Where is it? Get kind of lost. It all looks quite a bit similar here. So this is my normal spot here. We can basically do the same, but I like it just probably here, where we go to the edge. That's what we casted to the first time from over on that beach. But I think just from the back edge of this, we're going to go. So I think we'll go diced cheese, and we'll use our Tenchy ground bait, and we'll luzz it sort of 45%. That looks alright. Get it out there. And we're going to go triple cheese, boys. Triple cheese. 50%, is that too much? Didn't see it land. We'll see a bit when we reel in how high the line is. No, that looks right. And then cheese. Tench ground bait. In it. We're going to go just off the edge this time, a little bit more. Sort of round the... No, that's going straight in there. I want to get it round the back here, sort of towards that big log over there. And a bit more juice. 72%. Oh, no, no, no. No. Casting accuracy is a little bit fudged in this game. I understand you need sort of... I have points in it. Is that over the back? I can't risk that, can I? I have points in it, and we're snaggaged. We're going to just slacken the line, give it a wiggle. Oh, hang on. Got a bite, boys. Jesus, is that the bite? Yes, apparently we have a fish on. Okay. It's not big, but we'll take it, boys. Is it a tench? Is it a small barbel? It feels very small. I'm going to say a little tench. It is. What is it? Is it a chub? It's a 2.5 kilo chub, boys. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm very happy. That's not a bad little chub. I'll take that. When I used to river fish back in the day when I was very young, the cheese was a really old, stinky cheese. Was fantastic chub bait. Need to get rid of this out. Failed. Just keep right clicking. Keep on right clicking with a slack line. That means, because if you have a tight line and you do the right click, a lot of the time you'll break your line or break your rod. Or I've seen so many people lose their stuff. There we go. But just slacken the line. You can hit enter to release the bay alarm, meaning that the line will come off the spool easily. And just keep going. Right, okay. How many times have we attempted this cast? I want it just behind. That's not happening. Come on! Come on, shake it off. Shake it off. Right. And I'll do. A little bit further away than I wanted, but I'll take that, lads. Got to be honest. I'll take that. It's a little bit further took from the grass we wanted. Really. It's not too bad. So good there. That's alright. Hello, Mr. Moth. Would you like... Trouble is, recording at night time with the window wide open because it's really warm, with a giant studio light on your face. It's like I'm making a nature programme on moths at the moment. There's so many in here. Right, okay, we're all in. We're ready. We want some tenches. We'll have barbel. I'll take a chub. I'll take another chub. Everyone likes a chubby, don't they? That's what she said. Oh, hang on. We've got a bloody fish on here, boys. I was just reeling in because I'm actually going to move just slightly along to the sort of next peg, and we've got a very, very small fish on that didn't even wake up. It's one of them days, lads. I was actually going to just go, I'm just going to move up here against these reeds here. Right, we've got officially, I've been recording for 1 hour 44. Oh. It's not big. Oh, it's really not big. And it's on the one with no ground bait. Is it a tiny little roach? Is it a little tench? I couldn't see it. Is it a tiny barbel? Apparently, we shall know. I've not had the best day, lads. I've got to be honest. I've not had the best day. I'm about to get disconnected, aren't I? Yeah, we've had a few disconnects. I wanted to do a 2-hour recording and see what we could do in 2 hours. We're definitely going to revisit this. It's like a little mini challenge. I think that'd be quite cool to do challenges. I've never seen this before. I think my Northern Irish internet stupid TP link thing is just... What was it? If we get disconnected now, will that fish be in my keep net when I log back in or not? That is the question. I'm not getting disconnected, boys. Let me open up a browser window and see if I'm still connected to the internet. No is the answer. But it's thinking about it. It's not normally this bad, got to be honest. No, we are dead. We are dead. It's going to disconnect. Right, join me shortly to find out if we caught a fish. It's never normally this bad. We've had 5 disconnects now, lads. It's never normally this bad. Right, okay, we're back in. Will we have the fish? I reckon it was a little barbel, like a 1 kilo barbel. No, that's the roach. We didn't get it, boys. It's just not my day. It's just not my... We got a bite, okay? I'm going to add on 15 minutes for the disconnects we've had. So we've got 28 minutes of this recording left to see if we can catch another fish. So we're going to leg it around here in the dark, which is not ideal for casting. Not that it makes a great deal of difference. Remember, we have to reset the drag on the lines. But we got a bite quite quickly. So this is good signs. We're going here again. We're going cheese. You always have to put on ground bait again as well. 25. We're going just under sort of 40%. I don't know where that went. It didn't go in the island, but I'm not sure which side it really went. Didn't catch the flight of that at all. Could put on the torch somehow. Okay, 2 cheese, go. We could try. Oh, I think that's gone just right. That might actually be perfect. It's a little bit strong, but I think it went right. We can have a look down the line to get a better idea. No, it didn't go down the right at all. Fucking hell. Don't think we're snagged though. Right, rod 3. Let's go strawberry. We'll go a small forest strawberry. There is 2 types of strawberry, but I found forest works better. Sounds posher, doesn't it? Forest strawberry, as opposed to just strawberry. Right, we're going to stick it in the same spot though. 45%. That's lovely, I think. Well, that's lovely. Wind's getting up a little bit. You can see in the top right. Okay. Right. Can we catch a tench? Actually, no, anything. Anything that's not a roach or a bream. Okay, a tench, a barbel, or a carp before... We've got 20 minutes. Right, we've got 20 minutes. We'll get one. We're in, boys. We're in. Looks like a better bite. The rod is freaking out a little bit. It's small. Is it a barbel? Is it a tench? Is it a fucking roach? It looks like a little tench. It's going to be a kilo. They're quite good money. If you're looking... That's not bad. See, decent experience. Obviously, I've got premium, so it doubles it. But 1,000 experience almost. It's not too bad for a small tench. Don't put up much of a fight. If I'm sort of trying to make money, especially early on, for making silver, getting experience, like the big fish gain you a lot of experience, but when you're on lighter gear, it might take 20 minutes to land a fish where you could have caught 5 smaller fish. My suggestion is to go to my old bird guide and go after tench and go after crucian carp, because both those fish, a kilo crucian and a kilo tench, they're worth quite a bit of money. They're worth quite a bit of experience for the fight. You can get them in nice and quick, even with light gear. They're really good to go for. So we've caught a tench, boys. Oh, in fact, we just caught a fish. Right, we've up to 8 fish. It's not ideal, lads. Bearing in mind, like, one of them's a tiny roach, one of them's a bream. I'm happy with the chub and the tench, and the carp are decent, okay sizes. The rest, yeah, not so much. But we will persevere. We've still got 10 minutes left. Oh, I was just starting to lose hope, boys. We've hooked another one, and that's a better fish. Ah, it's the forest strawberry. It's the killer. I was going to say, if you're watching this video, give forest strawberry a try. I would still suggest that, especially if you're watching it while it's new. Because I don't know if it's going to work in a week's time or whether it's going to be something else. I'm still, like I said, still doing the experiments and recording the stuff. So, right. Here we go, boys. Here we go. It's not massive, but it's going to be a carp. If it's a barbel, I'd be delighted. But it's on the boilies, so we're assuming it's a carp. Don't lose it. Oh, I thought we lost it for a sec. Oh, I panicked for a sec there, boys. I was looking in chat to see if it said we'd lost the fish. Okay, we've got some snags just ahead of us here, so we're going to walk around them. We don't really want to get involved in all that. Oh, keep the line tight. Keep the line. Sort of just edge walk as you're reeling in, just walk a little bit. So then keep that line the same tightness. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Keep the bend of the rod. We'll get to this bit here, we should be fine. It's not big. Or is it? Or is it? Is it just a whale that's decided to wake up? No, it's not big. Could be 10 kilos. I'm going to say it's going to be more like 8. Oh, hang on. Gonna put it up to 29. Alright. Okay, this is a 10 kilo fish. It's got to be. Unless it's a wild, grassy. Nice. Oh, it's good if we can just finish this session. I'm going to take an energy drink nice and early. I want to get this fish in, boys. I don't want to lose this fish. We're going to end the session on a high. And go and sell our fish. I quite like the idea of doing some sort of challenges. Like, so, oh, you've got to catch 50 kilos of bream in 2 hours or something like that, or whatever it is. You've got 2 hours to catch a 4 kilo bream or a 3 kilo tench or something like that. So if you've got any suggestions for challenges or just styles of fishing or just fish species you want me to go and have a go at, do let me know. I think it's giving it. I'm going to say 10k. I don't think it's any more than that. It seems to be on the verge of giving up. We're getting some line back. I think we might be lucky if we get 10k. We've got another bite, boys. Oh, it's kicking off. This is what I love about this game. I love this game because it's a relaxing game. It's not all action. You can have a quiet time, but you can change things up and then you get a really good results. And that is fantastic. I love that stuff. Because it means something when you start catching fish. You move spot, or you've changed baits, or the wind has changed, or something's just gone right for you. And you get in the bites. Like some days you can do the exact same thing and you'll catch 1 fish in an hour. And you can come back in tomorrow and do the exact same thing and catch 15 fish in an hour. Okay, this is 10k. It's a weird fight though, because it almost felt like he gave up. Maybe he just sort of stopped for a piss or something. I don't think carp stop for a piss, do they? They're in water. It's just like when you're in a swimming bath, you just let it out and swim away, don't you? Quick, sharpish. Okay, I think is he done? I think he might be done, boys. Gaining back. We've got 3/4 of our line back. You seem to be able to pull it through these grasses okay, although you get... Oh, it got away! Got away, boys. Got away! Right, bounce back, bounce back. We've got another bite. Oh, that is unlucky. I've never lost 2 fish in a day. I've got good hooks and everything. Right, come on. Bastard. They're toying with me. This game is toying with me. Where'd I put my rods? Anyone know? I have lost my rods before. I don't think it's very big, boys. It's barely putting a bend in it. It's going to be a bloody roach, isn't it? Right, I think we'll just make this the final fish unless we can get a bite on the other 2. Be a tiny little barbel just to mix things up. Come on, game. Give us a... Oh, it's a... I've had bigger poos, lads. Is it a barbel? No, it's another roach. Right. Well, I think it's probably fitting that instead of finishing on a big fish, that we finished on a tiny, tiny little roach. So let's get the rods in. Let's go and sell up, see what we made. This is just for an FYI, not to brag or anything, but this, just to give you an idea. This is on the disappointing end. It's just in case you're all wondering, scale of a fishing day. I quite like those sort of days where it's more of a challenge. Like, you can go to Old Burger Mosquito and they're the early lakes, and you can pretty much catch fish every couple of minutes and stuff. I quite like the more realistic fishing where you might only catch one an hour sort of thing. Or not in the case of me. Right, okay, so we have, my friends, we didn't even hit double figures, and we got 2 little roach. There is no cafe here to do cafe orders, unfortunately, so you just have to sell up at the market. Let's sort by price. So we get almost 20 silver for the 11 kilo mirror carp. It does ramp up quite a lot for that. For a sort of 25 kilo, I think it's about 140 silver. The chub did well. Look, the chub was a little fruity bonus, that was, on the old fruity mussels. So I mean about the tench. So just over 1 kilo tench is 5 silver, and at early levels, you can catch them quite regularly. Yeah, the bream was the lowest value. 65 silver. I would be looking more at getting 150, 200 silver from a couple of hours on the lake. But there we go, my friends. Thank you very much for watching. I quite like that the first fishing adventure turns out to be a bit shit. Because it can only go up, right? Right? It can only get better. Like I said, if there's any particular style or fish you want me to go after in my next session, please do leave it in the comments. Also, if you've got any idea for challenges, whether that's a number of species, I think in a 2-hour real-life video, I think is quite a good way to do it. Then I'll edit it down. I think 2 hours. What can you do in 2 hours? A weight of a fish or a species or whatever it is. Let your mind wander. Even if you're not sure what is a good weight. Let's say if you said, oh, catch 50 kilograms of bream in 2 hours, I might take that idea but make it a more realistic number, whether that's higher or lower, because you might not know the game as well as me or at all or whatever. So let me know, give me some challenges, give me some stuff, and I'll try my best. Hopefully it'll be better than this. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time on the bank. Keep your banks wet. Tight banks, tight lines, keep your banks tidy. Okay, we're just going to end it there.